Morning, ma'am.
Good morning. So you had a class before this?
Yes, ma'am. We
Which
had a chemistry class.
chemistry? So can you see the screen?
Yes, ma'am.
So the others didn't come for the class, for chemistry class also? Okay.
Somebody came.
Okay, they are joining. Let's start, they'll keep joining. Okay. So today we'll study about the secondary growth in plants. Okay. So before going to secondary growth, we should first know what is primary growth in plants, right? So when a plant is growing, generally it increases in length with the help of apical meristem. So the apical meristem is present in the shoot tip and it's also present in the root tip. So we studied recently about the root apical meristem and the shoot apical meristem and the various theories which explain the structure of root and shoot apical meristems, right? So the shoot apical meristem helps in the linear growth of the plant. That is, it helps in increase in the height. It helps in growing upwards, whereas the root grows downwards, right? So it shows, the root shows positive geotropism, whereas the shoot shows negative geotropism. So primary growth mainly deals with increase in the length of the plant via with the help of your shoot apical meristem and the root apical meristem. The shoots grow upward and the roots grow downward into the soil. Okay, so this is our primary growth. What is secondary growth? So secondary growth leads to the increase of the girth of the plant shoots and roots. So increase in the length is primary growth. Increase in the girth or width or the radius of the plants is secondary growth. So as it is written, primary growth lengthens the roots and stems, whereas the secondary growth widens the roots and stems. Okay. So if only primary growth happens, what happens? The plant grows taller and taller. Will it be able to sustain that length? No, because if it's only growing in height and not growing in weight, I mean in the width, then there is no balance and the plant will fall down, right? So secondary growth also is very important. So secondary growth helps in the widening of roots and stems. Okay, so when we talk about primary growth, it is mainly growth in terms of length, production of leaves, production of branches. All of these happen in the primary growth. As you can see, these arrows show how it is growing in length, how the leaves are growing, how the roots are growing. All this happens in primary growth. Whereas in secondary growth, there is increase in the width of the stems and roots. Okay. So this is the main difference between primary growth and secondary growth. Both of them are very important for the plant growth. So when we look at secondary growth, when we see a plant, initially it is all green and herbaceous, but after a few days we can see that its stem is turning woody, hard, and it's turning brown in color. So that is your secondary growth. Okay, when it is green, there is only primary growth that is happening in plants. So you must have seen few plants will never turn brown, right? For example, you can see grasses. Grasses are always green in color. Never you can see the grass stem becoming brown, right? So grasses are monocotyledonary plants. So in monocots and few of herbaceous dicots, secondary growth will not occur. Otherwise, most of the dicots show secondary growth. So increase in thickness happens in secondary growth, as we discussed. So why this increase in thickness happens? How this happens is because of the formation of secondary tissues. These secondary tissues are nothing but your secondary xylem and secondary phloem, and these secondary tissues are formed by the activity of cambium. So cambium, we know that cambium is present in between xylem and phloem in the vascular bundles, right? So this cambium which is present in between the xylem and phloem is known as vascular cambium, and in between two vascular bundles also there is cambium, that is known as interfascicular cambium. So these cambium will they will join the vascular cambium and the interfascicular cambium, and they'll form a ring, and it will give rise to secondary xylem on the inside and secondary phloem on the outside. Apart from this, you have cork cambium coming from your cortical cells, which will give rise to secondary cortex on the inside and cork on the outside, because of which you will have a periderm formation. So all this we are going to see in the coming slides. So it's mainly because of the activity of cambium and cork cambium. Okay, cambium in the stellar region, that is in the vascular bundles. Extrastellar region means in the cortex region or the epidermal region, you have cork cambium. So mainly because of the activity of cambium and cork cambium, there is increase in the thickness of the plants, and this leads to secondary growth. So as I just mentioned, in monocotyledonary plants and few of the dicots which are of herbaceous, in nature, we do not see any secondary growth. So depending on the place where the secondary growth is happening in the plant, secondary growth is divided into two types: intrastellar secondary growth and extrastellar secondary growth. So intrastellar means it is happening within the stele. Stele is nothing but your vascular region, right? Where your vascular bundles, xylem and phloem are located. Extrastellar means outside your vascular bundles, that is this near your cortical region, extrastellar secondary growth happens. So we'll see in detail what are intrastellar and extrastellar secondary growth. So in intrastellar secondary growth, there are a few steps. The first is the formation of a cambial ring. So we studied about vascular bundles generally in the stem. Yesterday also we studied xylem is towards the inside and phloem is towards the outside, right? And in dicotyledonous plants, all these vascular bundles are arranged in the form of a ring, right? They are all in the form of an annual ring. So this particular arrangement is known as eustele, right? This is known as eustele. So initially when the plant is young and there is only primary growth happening, then you have xylem, that is indicated in pink here, and phloem towards the outside. Okay, and in between them you have vascular cambium which separates xylem and phloem. So the vascular bundles which have the cambium in between are open vascular bundles, and in which xylem and phloem are arranged inside and outside. The vascular bundles are known as collateral vascular bundles. Okay, so in this way you have your xylem and phloem arranged, and there is a small strip of cambium in between xylem and phloem. This is known as vascular cambium or fascicular cambium. It's one and the same. Okay. So what happens during secondary growth? We know that this is medulla, right, in between, and the medulla that extends in between your vascular bundles is known as medullary rays. So in the medullary rays, the cells which are present just beside your vascular cambium, these cells also undergo dedifferentiation, that is, they undergo a change, and they also form cambial cells. Earlier this was all green, okay, this black strip was not there, but then during secondary growth, the cells which are present just beside your vascular cambium inside the vascular bundles, that is these cells, they undergo dedifferentiation and they form interfascicular cambium. Okay, so this interfascicular cambium, fascicular cambium, both of them join and form a continuous ring like this, the black ring that you can see. Okay, and this is known as your vascular cambial ring. So this is the first step in the secondary growth, that is the intrastellar secondary growth. Okay, I hope this is clear. Formation of a cambial ring. So now after the ring is formed, it starts showing activity. So vascular cambial ring, what do? They divide periclinally. Periclinally, we saw what is the difference between anticlinal and periclinal. Periclinal helps in increasing the number of layers, whereas anticlinal help in the increase in number of cells of the same layer, right? So the vascular cambial ring cells start dividing periclinally to form new cells inside and outside. That is, towards the inside and outside, this cambial ring starts dividing and giving cells towards the inside and the outside. So the cells which are forming on the inside are secondary xylem, and the cells on the outside or the derivatives on the outside are secondary phloem. So if we have this ring, okay, so towards the inside it forms secondary xylem. There is already there you already have your primary xylem. So this primary xylem is pushed towards inside. In that place you have your secondary xylem, and towards outside it gives rise to secondary phloem. So this primary phloem is pushed towards outside, and then in its place you get secondary phloem. So when we look at the quantities of secondary xylem and secondary phloem, secondary xylem is produced in more quantity than secondary phloem. So because of the formation of the secondary xylem and secondary phloem derivatives, primary phloem is pushed towards the center, okay, and primary phloem is pushed towards the outside, okay. So if we see in this picture, we can see that this is the cambial ring, okay, this is the cambial ring, and this is the secondary xylem, okay, and this is the secondary phloem. So this black color ring that you can see is your cambial ring. Blue is secondary xylem. This red is secondary phloem. Okay. This is primary xylem, which is pushed towards the center, and primary phloem is pushed towards the outside, the blue one. Okay. So this way, in this way, the secondary tissues are formed. So when we look at the secondary xylem and secondary phloem, yesterday we studied xylem and phloem generally contain tracheids, vessel elements, xylem parenchyma, and xylem fibers, right? So the same cells are also present in secondary xylem, and secondary phloem contains sieve elements, companion cells, phloem fibers, and phloem parenchyma. Okay, in this way, your vascular cambium gives rise to secondary xylem towards inside and secondary phloem towards outside. So, apart from the secondary xylem and secondary phloem, there are some other cells which are formed from vascular cambium. We'll look at them in this third part. They are known as vascular rays. So, the vascular cambial ring, when it divides, actually it gives rise to two types of cells. One is fusiform initials and one is ray initials. Okay, fusiform initials and ray initials. So when we look at the structure of these fusiform initials and ray initials, fusiform initials are elongated and they are spindle shaped. As you can see, these are all fusiform initials. They are elongated and spindle shaped, and they give rise to secondary xylem and secondary phloem that we just discussed about. Okay, from these fusiform initials, they arise, the xylem and secondary phloem. Apart from these fusiform initials, you have certain isodiametric cells which are ray initials, which you can see here. These ray initials give rise to secondary medullary rays. So two types of tissues are being formed in secondary growth. One is your secondary xylem and secondary phloem, and apart from that you also have secondary medullary rays. So why do we have secondary medullary rays? So secondary medullary rays connect your secondary xylem to secondary phloem and help in the transport of food. So only secondary xylem and secondary phloem, if it's not just only secondary xylem and secondary phloem that is being formed. In between you have certain ray initials also, which will help in connecting the secondary xylem to secondary phloem and which help in the conduction of water and food material. So the secondary medullary rays which are present in the secondary xylem are known as wood rays or xylem rays. Okay, and the rays which are present in secondary phloem are known as phloem rays. Okay, so in this way we have two types of cells coming out from your vascular cambium, that is fusiform initials and ray initials. Fusiform initials give rise to secondary xylem and secondary phloem. Ray initials give rise to secondary medullary rays. So now let's look at annual rings or growth rings. So these are the rings generally when we are walking on the road and when we see some of the trees, big trees being cut down also, we can see concentric rings in the wood in the stumps that are left behind. So these are your annual rings or growth rings. So what are these annual rings or growth rings? So these annual rings or growth rings are every year. Generally these are mainly found in regions where there are two seasons. Okay, in our country we don't have two seasons, we generally have three seasons, right? That is summer, winter and rainy season. But when we look at countries like temperate countries like the US or certain European countries, there they majorly have two seasons. One is the favorable spring or rainy season, that is where you have lot of growth happening in the plants, right? Where you have conditions which are favorable for the plant growth. And the other one is you have extreme summer which is very dry, or extreme winter where you have snow. So in such conditions the growth is hampered and the conditions are not favorable for the plants to grow. So you have two seasons, one which is a favorable season, one which is unfavorable season. So in the favorable season, the plants grow very well. In unfavorable seasons, they are just surviving. The growth is not so prominent. So in such plants, what happens is you have two distinct types of secondary xylem that is forming in these two different seasons. That is, during the favorable season, you have the formation of secondary growth and formation of secondary xylem and secondary phloem. During unfavorable season also there is some secondary growth happening and there is some formation of secondary xylem and secondary phloem. So you can clearly see that every season, I mean every year, you can see a distinct ring that is formed. Okay, so a distinct ring that is formed and each ring suggests the secondary growth that happened during that year. As we already know that the quantity of secondary xylem is much more than secondary phloem, so this ring is mainly contributed by the secondary xylem. Okay, secondary phloem is almost negligible, you cannot see that when compared to your secondary xylem. Okay, so secondary xylem is nothing but what we call as wood commercially. So wood is, when if any entrance exam they ask you what is wood, actually when you look at it physiologically, what is wood, it is secondary xylem. So such plants which are growing in such regions generally contain two types of wood. Okay, one is spring wood, one is autumn wood, right? Spring wood is formed during the spring season, that is secondary xylem formed during spring season. And in autumn wood is the secondary xylem formed during the autumn season. So when we look at the spring wood and autumn wood, when we compare them, the spring wood is also known as the early wood, whereas autumn wood is known as late wood. Okay, So when we look at these, the xylem or the wood that is formed during spring season, so the spring season wood is much wider. That is, it is more in quantity. So this is obvious because during the spring season, the conditions are favorable, the plant is growing and it is forming more amount of secondary xylem and secondary phloem. So it is much wider, that is more in quantity compared to your autumn wood or late wood when the conditions are not very favorable for the plant. So the plant is not investing in secondary growth, but it is more interested in surviving, in withstanding those difficult situations which are there, and it is trying to survive. So there it will not focus on growth, but it will focus on withstanding those difficult conditions and surviving, right? So the spring wood or early wood is higher in quantity than your autumn or late wood, and the spring wood is much lighter in color. That is, it is light brown in color, and the density also is much lower. Okay, density is much lower. That is, it is more porous. Spring wood is more porous, and it consists of wider and larger xylem elements. That is, your tracheids, your basal elements are much larger and wider in spring wood. Okay, when you look at the autumn or late wood, it is dark brown in color, and it is more compact and dark, higher in density. That is, the number of pores are less, it is more closely and compactly arranged, and your tracheids and vessel elements are much smaller and narrower with thicker walls. Okay, so this is the difference between your spring wood and autumn wood. The tracheids and fibers in autumn wood are more abundant. So you have more number of tracheids and fibers, but they are smaller in size and they are narrower in size and they have thicker walls. Okay. So, but spring wood consists of large and wide xylem elements. Okay. And the wood is porous and light in density and light in color. Okay. So, the age of a plant can be measured by counting these rings. So each year you have a ring. So that's why these rings are known as annual rings, happening once in a year, right? So the age of a plant can be estimated approximately by counting the number of rings that are present. So this science that deals with counting and analyzing the annual growth rings of the trees is known as dendrochronology. Okay, it is known as dendrochronology. Then we have another term, another terminology, that is sapwood and heartwood. So when we look at the plants like Dalbergia and Acacia, which grow very tall, okay, they have, when we look at the wood, when we look at the tree trunks, when they are cut, we can see that the innermost portion of the wood is very dark in color, whereas the outer portion is very light in color. Okay, so depending on this color, we can divide the wood into two types. Okay, two parts. The inner wood, which is dark in color, is known as heartwood. Okay, it is known as heartwood or duramen, and the outer wood, which is light in color, is known as sapwood or alburnum. Okay, sapwood or alburnum, and the inner wood is heartwood or duramen. Okay, so when we look at heartwood, this is mainly involved in storage of many secondary metabolites like oils, resins, tannins, aromatic substances, okay, essential oils, gums, all of them are stored in the cells of heartwood. Whereas sapwood is mainly involved in conduction of water. So heartwood is not functional, it is just storing all these secondary metabolites in it, whereas sapwood is actually doing the function that a normal xylem would do. So what is it doing? It is involved in conduction. So this is functional and this is non-functional. So because it stores all these oils, resins and gums, all of these give this color to the heartwood. That's why it is dark brown in color. And because all these compounds are present in the heartwood, it is antiseptic, that is, it is resistant to attack by insects and ants, which generally feed on these wood. So it is resistant to all these pests and termites. So for commercial uses, I mean for the preparation of furniture or other things that we make out of wood, heartwood is very popular and it is much in demand because it naturally has this antiseptic property which makes it resistant to attack from pests and insects. So the wood will not get spoiled and it will stay, it will be durable for a longer period of time. Okay, so heartwood is more stronger and more durable than sapwood, and heartwood gives the mechanical strength to the plant and it is resistant to your insects and microbial microbes. Okay, microorganisms also cannot attack this heartwood. Sapwood is the recently formed wood, that is it's the young wood and it helps in the, generally it helps in the conduction of water, but gradually sapwood also will turn into heartwood. Okay, as the age of the plant increases, sapwood also will change into your heartwood. So these are the different things that happen during your intrastellar secondary growth, because this is all happening within the inside your stele, that is near your vascular bundles. So first you have the formation of a cambial ring, right? Then you have the cambial ring showing its activity and giving rise to xylem and secondary xylem, secondary phloem, and we also have your secondary medullary rays which help in connecting your secondary xylem and secondary phloem. Then we have seen about annual rings, right? The wood that is formed during spring favorable season and the wood that is formed during unfavorable season, and how these rings are used in estimating the age of the trees. And then depending on the age of the plant, the wood transforms from sapwood to heartwood, and heartwood is the one which is more durable, which is more resistant to insects and pest attack. Okay, so this is more much more in demand for commercial purposes. So this is about your intrastellar secondary growth. Next we have some extrastellar secondary growth, that is the growth, secondary growth that is happening outside your vascular bundles. So about this we are going to see, we'll see this tomorrow because I think it's already time and you have your language classes. So we'll see about this tomorrow. Okay, we'll see extrastellar secondary growth tomorrow. I hope you understood that.
Yes.
Were you all able to follow?
Yes, ma'am.
Oh. Huh? Did you all understand?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Was my voice clear and were you able to see the slides clearly?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Okay, then tomorrow we'll meet at 10:30 and tomorrow we'll see extrastellar secondary growth. And do you want any other topic to be repeated? Do you have anything else that you want to repeat? Anybody?
Structure of hydrotone.
Structure of?
Hydrotone.
Can you say it again? I'm not able to follow.
Hydrotone, ma'am.
No. Structure of? Say it again.
Embryology topic.
No, I'm not able to follow. Are you? Is anybody else understanding what she said? Structure of embryo sac.
Embryology total topic.
Embryology total. Okay. Okay, we can start embryology after we finish our intrastellar secondary growth. Intrastellar secondary growth will only take 5 to 10 minutes. Okay. Sorry, first class, second class, just 5 to 10 minutes tomorrow. Then we can start physiology. Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Okay then. We'll see each other tomorrow again at 10:30.
Thank you, ma'am.
Okay then. Bye.